Please like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell icon so that you get to know when my latest video has come. And to learn more and to find a video relevant to you, please do check out my videos list.
Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Today we'll talk about an often less discussed, less known but a little intriguing point which is called the Fortuna Point in astrology. Now this has been talked less in the other astrological texts. However, in the KP method or in the Krishnamurti method, Krishnamurti Paddhati method, the Fortuna Point has been taught, and it has also been given how to utilize and calculate the Fortuna Point in your horoscope using certain calculations. Now, what is the Fortuna Point? The Fortuna Point is the addition of the degrees between the ascendant, the Lagna degrees, the actual degrees, the moon's degrees, they both are added, and you subtract the sun's degrees from the total sum of between the ascendant and the Lagna. So once you add the ascendant and moon's degrees and you subtract the degrees of the sun's placement, then the final degrees that you get, where is that particular point lying in the horoscope, that sign and that particular house becomes where the Fortuna Point is, which means the fortune will come from there, or good fortune will come from there. Now, one of the things why the Fortuna Point is important is because Fortuna Point is more from a materialistic point of view, and so this gives you more worldly success, and so people want to know where their Fortuna Point is, then where will I get the success, the money, the name and fame. But one of the important things which people miss out is why is the ascendant points and the moon points added and sun's points subtracted from the Fortuna Point, and that is a critical dissemination or manifestation and the deeper meaning of the Fortuna Point. If you miss that, then you will not understand how to make the better use of the Fortuna Point. Now firstly, what is the Lagna? The Lagna represents you, or in totality what you represent. It is your prestige, your standing in society, your health in general, your thinking ability. What is the moon? Moon is about where your direction in life goes through your mind, which means where is the mind going, where is the focus going, where is the manas going. And it is said that where your manas goes, your sun goes to, which means where the mind goes, the soul also goes. And so if you truly want success in life, then it is important that the whole of you takes part or puts effort or moves in the direction of where you want to go, and your mind needs to help you to go there, to get there, to help you make the choices. And you should nurture and support and nourish that area in life where you want success, and you need to put heart and soul and your everything into it, which is represented by the Lagna, and your mind and the choices and your nourishment is represented by the moon. And so you add yourself and the moon's points together, or the degrees together, which constitutes a final effort and your direction and the approach in life. But why do you subtract the sun's points? What is the sun? Sun represents the soul. Now when do you strike off anything? If you have a list of 5 things to do, and if you have done, say, the first thing, then what do? You check out, or you click out, or you minus, or you rub off that, because you are already done with that. If you are not done with that particular point, the particular activity, then it remains on your to-do list, because you have not completed that activity. So unless you completed that activity, you will not strike off that activity, you will not delete that activity, you will not subtract the activity, you will not minus the activity. So the reason that you subtract the sun's degrees from the total of the ascendant and the moons is because you have completed the sun's, the soul's activity which has been given to you in that life. If you don't do that, then this Fortuna Point doesn't make any sense. Fortuna Point becomes useless, and this is what many people don't understand. For you to be able to drive a car, you have to learn to drive a car, and you need to have the license to drive the car. You need to also follow rules and regulations. Without learning to drive the car, you can't drive the car. and you will meet with an accident and you may hurt people. So subtracting the sun's degrees from the Fortuna point is about completing the sun's activity, the soul's activity in your life, and then only will the fortune be attracted from that house where the Fortuna point is placed. Without completing the soul's journey in this life, the fortune for that life will not be activated, and that's critical. And that means that it's important to understand where the sun is placed, or which sign Leo represents, which house Leo represents in the horoscope, where the sun is placed. After you complete the duties of the soul's journey, then only your Fortuna point is activated, not without that. And what is the soul's journey? The soul's journey is to do service. So doing service in the house where the Leo sign is placed, and looking at where the Lord of Leo sun is placed, and completing that activity is important. So for example, if sun rules the 6th house and it is placed in the 11th house, for example, then the 6th house is the house of service and the 11th house is the house of society, masses. So doing service to large masses with a leadership position, taking complete accountability, complete responsibility, and holding your prestige, your dignity, connected to how much you are able to add value, how much you are able to help others, how much of a at a social level you are able to help people, is the placement of the sun by virtue of ruling the 6th house and placing in the 11th house. If sun rules the 4th house and then goes into the 9th house, then it means that you need to take the leadership to nurture, to nourish others in the field of education. So nourishing others while you yourself learn, while you also pick up educational degrees, but you nurture others, and to take care of your gurus, which the 9th house represents. So you need to be able to connect which house the sign Leo rules, where the sun is placed, look at the connection and do your complete service in that direction, complete your duties in that direction, have a correct ethical moral behavior, and finish off everything in that, which means do your utmost in that direction and do it selflessly without looking at a reward for yourself. So if sun rules the 4th house and placed in the 9th house, then you will nourish education for somebody else's education. So doing something selflessly to educate somebody who is not able to educate themselves, and taking care of your gurus, respecting your gurus, holding them in high esteem, going to your gurus for advice. This is what the placement means. And when you do that, wherever your Fortuna point is, that gets activated, and that house then gives you the fruits of your labor. And this is very, very important. If you miss this out, there's no point looking at or finding the Fortuna point. So now, having said that, how is the Fortuna point calculated? So let's see the Fortuna point by virtue of taking one example. But before we get into the example, as I said earlier, once more, the actual degrees of the ascendant and the moon are added. So you look at where exactly which sign the ascendant is placed, or the ascendant sign is, how many degrees it is, then you add which sign the moon is. So if the ascendant is in Aries, then you look at only the degrees of Aries. But if the ascendant is in Taurus, then you add the degrees of Aries and the degrees of Taurus that the ascendant has moved. If the ascendant is in Cancer, then you take all the degrees up till Gemini, which means 30, 30, 30 each, and the degrees of Cancer, and then you add up them, and then you make it the ascendant. Come here, come here. Okay, Ewok wants to say hi, so say hi, Ewok. Okay, now you go on. If your ascendant is in Virgo, then you take all the sign degrees up till Leo, which is 30 degrees of each one of them, till Leo, which is 30 into 5, which is 150 degrees, and then you add whatever the degrees in Virgo is. So if Virgo is at 15 degrees, you will add 30 degrees of Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer and Leo, which is 150 degrees, and then you will add whatever degrees in Virgo. If the Virgo is at 15 degrees, then 150 and 15, which is 165. Same thing you do with the moon's degrees also. If the moon is in, say for example in Taurus, then you will take the 30 degrees of Aries and then you will add the number of degrees in Taurus. So if moon is at 4 degrees in Taurus, then you will take 30 degrees of Aries plus you will add 4 degrees of Taurus. So then the moon is lying at 34 degrees. So you will take the actual complete degrees of how many degrees the planet or the ascendant has traveled, and you use those degrees. So the ascendant, if it's at 15 degrees in Cancer, then it has already traveled 30 degrees of Aries, Taurus, Gemini each, and then also travel 15 degrees of Cancer. So that's why you will take 30 degrees of Aries, Taurus, Cancer, of Gemini, 90 degrees, and you will take 15 degrees of Cancer. So 90 plus 15 is 105. So that's how you take the overall complete degrees, adding all the complete journey that planet has traversed, and take that as the final degrees. Some apps will give you the final longitude also of that particular planetary placement. So they'll give you the overall degrees also, but some apps, if they don't give you, so I'm telling you how to calculate the placement. And once you calculate the ascendant and moon's complete degrees, keeping in mind this methodology and the sun's, then you add ascendant and moons and subtract the sun's points, then only you will get the final degrees of the Fortuna point, and then you will see where does the final degree lie in which sign, and that becomes that particular sign and house where the Fortuna point is, and then you see where is the placement of the Lord of that particular sign. So if the Fortuna sign lies in Taurus, then you will see where Venus lies, and so you will connect the dots between Taurus and Venus, where Venus is placed, which house it is placed in, and then you will overall calculate where the fortune is coming from. So rather than talking, let's jump into an example, take one case and see where the Fortuna point for this person is placed and what it means for this person. Now let's take the example of this person. This is a lady and her ascendant lies in Capricorn at 16 degrees and 27 minutes. Her sun lies in the sign of Libra at 27 degrees and 12 minutes, whereas her moon lies in the sign of Taurus at 16 degrees and 15 minutes. So when you calculate each one of them, the final degrees, you will look at what is the total degrees the ascendant has traveled or the Lagna has traveled while placed in the Capricorn sign at 16.27 degrees, so 16 degrees and 27 minutes. Now, since we are looking at the entire journey that the Lagna has moved, that means Lagna has moved 9 signs before Capricorn, and each sign is 30 degrees. So 9 multiplied by 30 is 270 degrees before reaching Capricorn. The Lagna has already moved. So 270 degrees of the journey before, and travel 16.27 degrees in Capricorn, which means that Lagna has already traversed 286 degrees and 27 minutes. Now where is the moon? Moon is placed in Taurus at 16 degrees and 15 minutes, which means moon has already traversed one sign before Taurus, which is Aries. So 1 into 30 is 30 degrees, and then you add the 16 degrees for 15 minutes that moon has also traveled within Taurus, and so you add 30 degrees of Aries and 16.15 degrees of Taurus, and you get 46.15 degrees or 46 minutes and 15 degrees, 46 degrees and 15 minutes that the moon has already traversed in Taurus. So this is the final position of moon in Taurus, whereas the final position of ascendant is to 286 degrees and 27 minutes. Now when you look at sun's placement, sun is placed in the sign of Libra at 27 degrees and 12 minutes. So Libra is the 7th sign. So the sun has already traversed 6 signs before coming to Libra. So 6 signs of 30 degrees each means sun has already traveled 180 degrees before it has reached Libra, and within Libra also it has traversed 27 degrees and 12 minutes. So if you add the 180 degrees before reaching Libra and in Libra traversed 27 degrees and 12 minutes, which means sun has traversed 207 degrees and 12 minutes to reach that 27 degrees and 12 points in Libra. So the final position of sun is 207 degrees and 12 minutes. So when you add the ascendant's 286 degrees and the moon's 46 and 15 minutes degrees together, you will find the final score is 332 degrees and 42 minutes is what the ascendant and moon's total journey comprises. Now when you subtract the sun's degrees of 207 degrees and 12 minutes from the total sum of ascendant and moons, which is 332 degrees and 42 minutes, then thus 332.42 minus 207.12, which means the final sum that you get, a final answer you get, is 125 degrees and 30 minutes. Now, where does 125 degrees and 30 degrees rise? So check the multiples of 30. When you check the multiple of 30 is below this number, that multiple is the number of signs that the Fortuna point has already crossed. So see the multiple of 4 below 125. So the multiple of 4 below 125 is 120 degrees. So 34 into 4 is 120. So 4 signs the Fortuna has already crossed before it has moved to reach 125.1.30, which means 4 signs is Cancer, and the 5th sign in which it lies is in Leo, being at 125.3 degrees. So 120 degrees of 30, 30, 30 each of Aries, Taurus, Gemini and Cancer have already traversed that journey, and plus 5 degrees and 30 degrees in Leo. So the Fortuna point lies exactly at 5 degrees and 30 minutes in Leo. So when you look at where does the Fortuna point lie in Leo, the Fortuna point lies in Leo in the 8th house, because the 8th house has Leo energies being represented by the Leo sign and the ascendant being that of Capricorn. So if the Fortuna point lies in the sign of Leo itself, where does the ruler of Leo or the lord of Leo lie? The lord of Leo sun lies in the 10th house, which means that the person's fortune will rise when the person does the duties of the 8th house connected to his career or karma. So if the person helps others who are themselves going through upheavals, challenges, issues in life, because sun is in the Libra sign, which is its debilitation sign, and so if the person helps others in their unfortunate events, in their upheavals, in their obstacles, and takes the lead and the responsibility and the ownership and does complete justice to others, then only will the person's fortune rise. This person actually, because of the 8th lord placed in the 10th house, that to be by virtue of being represented by the sun, lost the father at a very early age. So in a way the person's fortunes dipped when the Fortuna point lord got debilitated, and hence the person's fortune was great till father was alive, but the challenges arose after the father's death. And so if the person wants to activate the Fortuna point, then the person will have to do the duties connected to the 10th house and the 8th house of helping others in their obstacles, in their upheavals, in their challenges, and only that, and with a lot of hard work, with wisdom being represented by Jupiter, and with a lot of analysis, analytical ability, and with a service frame of mind, because Mercury also rules Virgo, and brand herself as somebody who wants to help others and reach out to others to help and take the lead in helping others, only then will the person's fortune point or Fortuna point rise. And so then the career will do very well, the person will attract gains, relationships will do very well, because the Fortuna point's lord lies in Libra, while the Fortuna point lies in the 8th house. So helping others is critical because of the 8th house manifestation, and herself facing the challenges and obstacles in life without batting an eyelid, without compromising on self-respect, without compromising on prestige, and taking the lead in others will activate the person's Fortuna point. And hence career, relationships will do very well, children will do very well, because Jupiter is also the Karaka of children, and the lordships of Mercury and Jupiter will also do very well, apart from career doing very well for this person. And this will be strongly manifested during the Dasha and Antardasha of the Sun, during the Dasha and Antardasha of Venus, because Sun is placed in Libra, ruled by Venus, and to a certain extent the person will also attract good fortune during the Dasha and Antardasha of Mercury and Jupiter. and that's how you arrive at what the overall manifestation of the Fortuna point is in the horoscope. So friends, this is very important, that before you look at where the fortune is coming from, you take the lead in terms of your soul's journey and looking at what your soul is representing, what the duty of the soul is, what the duty is of where the sun is placed, and only after that the fortune will rise. For this example that we looked at, the person's Fortuna point lies in Leo itself and was ruled by the sun. So this became easy for this person, because as much as possible, whenever she is completing the duty manifested by the soul, the sun, automatically the Fortuna point is clicking or getting activated and giving results of the career. For somebody else, the Fortuna point may lie in some other sign. For somebody else, if the Fortuna point lies in Cancer, then where is the sun placed first? Because you need to complete the duty of the soul first. So which sign is the sign of Leo? If the ascendant is Cancer and the Fortuna point is in the ascendant itself, then the second house is Leo, and if sun is placed, for example, in the 10th house. So through your career, through your work and doing your work or doing your career or taking care of your karma with your responsibilities, without resorting to unethical behavior, without moving away from the moral fabric and completing the sun's journey first, is then when the Fortuna point is activated, being in the Lagna, and then the person will do very well with the stature, with the prestige, with the standing in society. However, where is the Fortuna point Lord placed? So because the Fortuna point is in Cancer, then you have to see where the moon is placed and then connect the dots between the Lagna and the moon, and then the results or the final fortune will blossom in the connection. So here a moon is, for example, placed in the 11th house, being the Cancer sign, and the Fortuna point, for example, placed in the ascendant. Then you look at, because the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus in the 11th house, which means the person can get a lot of name, fame, a lot of adulation from society by virtue of money coming in, by virtue of all heart's desires getting fulfilled, because 11th house is also the house of fulfillment of desires. The person will also be able to do very well using his or her creativity, imagination, and by nurturing others, supporting others, and then you will also be nurtured, you will also be supported, and you will also attract attention. Now one small point by virtue of how the calculation is. If the addition of the ascendant and moon is higher than the sun, then it's no brainer. But if the addition of the ascendant and moon's degrees while adding, if the sun's degrees are still higher, then you add 360 degrees to the total of ascendant and moon's degrees, add 360 to it, and then subtract the sun's degrees from it. However, if the total degrees that you get of the ascendant and moon is very, very high, and after subtracting the sun's degrees, it is still higher than 360 degrees, then you will subtract 360 degrees from it, and then you see where that particular point lies. So after the ascendant and moon's degrees, addition of that, and then subtracting the sun's degrees from that, if the final figure is 370, for example, so when you subtract 360 from 370, then you end up with 10 degrees. That 10 degrees lies in the Aries sign, and that's where the Fortuna point lies. And then Mars position becomes very, very important, where Mars is placed in the horoscope. So that's how you see the Fortuna point, trying to make it as simple as possible. Based on where the Fortuna point is, the fortune will come up in that particular area. If it's in the Lagna, then your name and fame will shine, you will have a good status in society, you will have more dignity. Based on how you manifest that position and where the Lagna's Lords is placed, so your karma, your karaka, your work will be cut out for you. So see where the Lord of the Fortuna point sign is placed, and connect the dots, and you will get better fortune there. But it doesn't mean that the fortune will be activated directly without hard work, without effort, first in the manifestation of the sun, and second what the sign's Lord has manifested, only then the Fortuna point will be activated, fortune will be activated. Without that, you will not be able to activate the Fortuna point, you will not be able to get good gains, and hence it is not so easy. It's not given on a platter to you. Hard work, completing your duty of sun first, and then manifesting the Fortuna point is important. So friends, look at these look at where your Fortuna point is based on the calculation, and based on that try and see how you can complete the duties of the soul before you activate the Fortuna point, and then connect the dots between the Fortuna point sign and the sign lord where it is placed, and based on that move in the direction, and you will get most gains or best gains in that placement. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the links given below. Until some other time with some other video, this is your friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.